Hey, welcome back to another Netcast. I'm Rich Lopez, Quantrix Authority. Sincerely appreciate you joining me today for episode number 180, Pound Size Error, Check for Symmetry. I'm going to show you this video in response to a question I received at quantrixauthority@gmail.com. Sincerely appreciate the person who asked me this question, and I hope that you'll reach out to me with your Quantrix questions so that I might answer them for you here on the podcast. I have here a very, I guess, complex model. If you want to call it complex, it's a Quantrix model. And I have a summary of balances here. Okay, I have assets, I have liabilities, and where I'm pulling this information from, say for assets, is I want to go out and I want to select the trial balance ending amount up here, right, where my accounts, where these accounts here, match to assets here, or liabilities, so on and so forth. Well, there's a mapping that I have going on in this chart of accounts where I have account linked here. You can see accounts linked here and accounts linked here. And within this chart of accounts, I have summary balances where I have a list of all these accounts and then summary balances. That's where it's going to hit on my summary balances matrix over here. And I have a select statement that says go out and, pull in this ending amount here based off of whether or not these guys here match this guy here. So how do you do that in Quantrix? Why am I getting the pound size error? I mean, in theory, this ought to be working for me because, again, I have my accounts linked between these matrices. So since they're linked, this item here ought to be just a continuation of an item if it were placed in here. Well, let's look at the dependency inspector on this one. When I hover on these various elements, that this segment of the formula right here brings in 72,324 items. When I hover here, you'll see that this segment of the formula right here, of course, brings in 8,000 items. So again, it was like 74,000 or 73,000 versus 8,000. That just doesn't match up, and that's why I'm getting the pound size error. So I go back to this model and I say, well, my accounts are linked here, and even my fiscal year here and my month here is all linked to fiscal year here and month here. So why are these out of whack? Well, the reason is I have two additional items or two additional categories here. I have location here and department here. Okay. Now, if I were to delete location and department, I'm not saying that's what you'd want to do in this example to fix it, because those are probably critical to your analysis. You would see that I have eliminated the pound size error. And again, if I were to go in here and look at these, I would see that, well, that has 8,036 items. This one also has 8,036 items. So how do I fix this pound size error? If I have location and department brought over, you would need to also take location and department down here to the chart of accounts. Now you may think, well, that's kind of lame to do, and yeah, maybe it is. And you may say, well, I definitely don't want to have to map every one of these accounts and type in assets all the way down here. So what then needs to happen is you would go ahead and you would say, well, my first location and my first department, I guess that first combination where those two meet is really going to be my input cell. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a formula that then populates the rest of my items of location and department with whatever I enter into the first instance. So again, I would say summary balances equals summary balances location first department first, and I would skip, and I need to actually, sorry, I need to put this in brackets here. So I'm going to have it be location first, and then summary first, and then I'm going to skip location first because that's an input cell, department first, like that. If I go ahead and I do that, you'll see now, you'll notice that if I do zoom in on this, I have this little input cell indicator that is only highlighted on my first department and my first location. Okay, so the rest of these guys, as I tick on them, you'll see that it's highlighting this formula. It's because they're all formula driven now. So now what happens is I have eliminated the pound size error by bringing in location and department into it and then mapping it this way. Anyway, it's kind of a long podcast, but I think that's pretty critical to know, and I hope that if you have a question that you'll reach out to me at quantrixauthority@gmail.com. I absolutely love Quantrix. I want to make you a Quantrix master, so please join me again for another episode of Quantrix Authority with Rich Lopez.